Going to a gun range for the first time, especially as a queer person, can be pretty scary. Hi, my name's Ray. I'm a firearms instructor from Chicago. My pronouns are they, them. Gun ranges can be intimidating places, but I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know for your first range trip so everyone will think you're a seasoned pro. First, almost every gun range is going to want you to fill out some sort of liability waiver before using the range. Many ranges will let you fill out this form on their website before you arrive. While you're on their website, check to see if you can reserve range time in advance. This can save you time and guarantee you get a spot at busy gun ranges. Once you arrive at the range, you'll typically head to a counter labeled Range Check-In. In Illinois, they'll want to see your FOID card and sometimes your driver's license. If you don't already have a FOID card, what are you waiting for? You can apply for one online in a few minutes. Check the link in my profile for more info. Some ranges will allow you to shoot in the same lane as a friend that has a FOID card, so that can be an option as well if you're still waiting for yours to be approved. At the counter, they'll confirm that you've signed the waiver if necessary, and then they'll ask how much range time you want and what you'll be shooting. Typically, they just want to know if you're shooting pistols, shotguns, or rifles so they can send you the appropriate range. If you don't have your own gun, most ranges that are attached to a gun store will let you rent some of their firearms for use on their range. Expect to be required to use their ammunition, which you'll need to purchase at the range. If you didn't bring your own paper targets from home, you can typically purchase them at this time. Be aware that most ranges have strict rules about shooting at targets depicting actual people, so make sure you're using generic bullseyes or silhouettes only. Once you've registered and paid, you'll either be given a lane number and told to proceed directly to the range, or you'll be told to go speak to a range employee who will look at your paid receipt and assign you a lane then. Before entering the range, you will need to put on hearing and eye protection. You might hear people call this having your eyes and ears on. You can save some money by purchasing these in advance, but most ranges will be happy to sell them to you. To enter the range, you'll pass through two sets of doors that function as a sort of airlock. The purpose of these is to prevent the noise on the range from entering the waiting area. Make sure the door behind you closes completely before proceeding. Once you find your lane, you can begin unpacking your bag and getting ready to shoot. While you're in the lane, your firearm should only be pointed downrange at the targets, and you should never bring your firearms outside of your lane unless they're inside of a case. At this point, you're ready to hang your target. Some ranges will have dedicated clips for holding up your targets, or you can always just use a roll of tape. Make sure you hang your targets low enough that rounds passing through the target will strike the floor and not the ceiling. Hitting the ceiling or any range equipment with your shots will have you kicked out of a gun range immediately in most cases. Once your target is ready to go, you'll need to use a switch or a touchscreen on your lane to move the target backwards into the range. Some older ranges may also have hand-operated equipment. When in doubt, ask the range safety officer or RSO for help. At this point, you're ready to start shooting. Always make sure your gun is only ever pointed downrange and away from the ceiling or walls. And keep your finger away from the trigger until you've taken aim and you're ready to fire. Remember, if you're shooting a semi-automatic firearm, that empty casings will be exiting the gun each time you fire. These brass casings can be fairly hot and might be painful if they contact exposed skin. Make sure you're wearing a shirt with a neckline that doesn't allow things to fall in to avoid a potentially painful or dangerous situation. Once your range time is done, pack up your firearms and throw away any old targets or empty boxes of ammunition. Make sure you've properly cleared any firearms by removing the magazine and verifying that the chamber is completely empty. It's good range etiquette to clean up your empty casings from the lane before leaving. Typically, there'll be a broom that you can use to push them forward onto the firing range, where they'll be collected by staff later. Only empty casings should be pushed onto the range. Everything else needs to go in garbage cans. After leaving the fire range, it is absolutely critical that you wash your hands thoroughly with cold water and soap to avoid lead exposure, especially before you eat or drink anything. And that's all there is to it. Every gun range is different, so when in doubt, ask a staff member. They should always be happy to answer your questions. And if they aren't, why are you giving them money?